You ever notice how every book, every seminar, every late night infomercial has some slick guy in a suit telling you how to get rich? You too can achieve financial freedom if you just follow these 10 easy steps. 10 easy steps, huh? Step 1. Be born rich. That's it. The rest of the list doesn't matter. You can burn it. You can roll it up and use it as kindling to keep warm while the rich folks sit by the fire made of your dreams. See, the secret to wealth isn't hustle, it's inheritance. That's the real American dream, being born on third base and thinking you hit a triple. It's not about ambition or drive. It's about starting the game, already owning the stadium. You know what I mean. While most people are out there saving pennies in a jar, the born rich crowd is earning compound interest on compound interest. They're making money in their sleep and they nap a lot. People love to say, money doesn't buy happiness. Yeah, maybe not, but it buys a better class of problems. When you're rich, your biggest problem is your yacht is too small for your helicopter. When you're not rich, your problem is your car broke down and you can't afford the bus fare. I'll take the yacht problem any day, and what really kills me is when people call billionaires self-made. Self-made my foot. They were self-made the same way a turkey is self-cooked. Look at their biographies. Go ahead, open any one of them. You'll see he grew up in a modest home with 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a live-in chef named Roberto. That's not modest, that's a resort with homework. You ever meet someone who says, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps? Yeah, and guess what? Most people don't even have boots, and if they do, they're paying them off in installments. The whole bootstrap story is a fairy tale told by people whose boots were handcrafted in Italy and polished by someone else. It's funny, the rich kids start life with trust funds and tax shelters, while the rest of us start with student loans and overdraft fees. One group gets financial advisors, the other gets advice like just stop buying lattes. Yeah, that'll fix it. Stop buying lattes and you'll be a millionaire. Sure, by the year 3075, assuming you live that long and inflation takes a vacation. Let's face it, the game is rigged. You're not playing Monopoly with the same rules. They're playing with gold pieces and secret cards, and you're over there trying to mortgage Baltic Avenue. The dice aren't even fair. They're weighted with trust funds, and the best part, they make you feel like it's your fault. If you just worked harder, you'd be successful. Oh really, the janitor's working harder than anybody I know. The guy scrubbing the floors of a building owned by someone who's never held a mop in his life, and somehow the guy with the mops, the one who lacks drive. Please, the only thing he lacks is $1 billion inheritance and an accountant named Steve who hides his money in Bermuda. But the system's clever. It keeps you dreaming. It gives you just enough hope to stay quiet. They sell you the fantasy you too can be rich someday, and you start thinking, yeah, maybe if I work harder, save smarter, believe stronger. Meanwhile, the guy who's already rich is sitting there laughing in his robe, sipping champagne for breakfast, saying, keep dreaming, pal, my stock dividends thank you. It's like a big cosmic joke. We keep teaching kids you can be anything you want to be. But we forget to add the fine print. As long as your parents already own half the town, you can't be anything if the game board's tilted. It's like telling a goldfish it can win a marathon. Sure, it's inspirational, but it's also ridiculous. You ever notice how the rich always talk about hard work? They love that phrase, hard work builds character. Yeah, that's because they've never had to do any. They've had hard workers around them their entire lives. Nannies, drivers, cooks, gardeners, accountants. An entire ecosystem of people working hard so they don't have to. They're not against hard work. They're just against doing it themselves. And then they write books about it. Oh yeah, you've seen them. How I turned $10,000 into $1 billion. dollar empire. Sure, but the first $10,000 came from your dad. Step 1, daddy's wallet. Step 2, offshore account. Step 3, call yourself a visionary. I met a guy once who told me, money doesn't matter to me. I said, that's because you've got it. People without money never say that. You never hear someone broke say, money doesn't matter. No, they say, I'll take yours. You know who else gets a head start? The education system. Oh, the schools the rich kids go to, those places look like palaces. They've got swimming pools, debate clubs, fine arts programs, and cafeterias serving organic quinoa. Meanwhile, the schools in working neighborhoods are holding bake sales to buy pencils. You got teachers spending their own paychecks on paper, and the rich schools are funding their own robotics teams. Guess whose kids get into Ivy League universities later? Yeah, it's a real mystery, must be all that merit. And the funniest thing, the rich love pretending they're just like us. They show up on talk shows wearing jeans, saying things like, I'm just an ordinary guy. Sure you are, buddy. Just an ordinary guy with a private jet named Ordinary Guy. But here's the beautiful, tragic, hilarious truth. Most of them don't even realize how lucky they are. They really think they earned it all. That's what makes it funny and sad. They'll say, well, I started a company. Yeah, with seed money that could buy a small country. You didn't start from scratch. You started from silk. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every rich person is evil or lazy. Some are genuinely smart, innovative, maybe even decent. But let's not confuse the exception for the rule. The truth is, it's a lot easier to be a genius when you've got a safety net made of $100 bills. So yeah, if you want to know the secret to wealth, it's simple. Step 1, be born rich. That's the master key. Everything else, investing, saving, grinding, that's just decoration. The rest of us are out here playing checkers while they're moving pieces on a chessboard made of gold. And when you lose, they tell you to try harder next time. But hey, don't take it too seriously. Life's not fair, it never was. The trick is to laugh at it, understand it, and keep your sense of humor while you're standing outside the mansion gates. Because laughter might not make you rich, but it's one of the few things they can't tax. Yet, ChatGPT said, you ever hear that line, money makes money? Yeah, it's true, but nobody ever finishes the sentence. The full version should be, money makes money, and you don't even have to lift a finger if you've already got some. That's the beauty of it. It's like magic. You know, regular people work, sweat punch clocks, fill out time sheets, while the wealthy sit back and watch their money breed like rabbits. It's the only kind of reproduction they actually encourage. And it's not even a secret. They tell you, let your money work for you. Work for you, I'd love to, but first, I need some money that's not already working for someone else. See, for the average person, money doesn't work. It takes naps, long naps, the kind of naps you take after Thanksgiving dinner, but rich people's money, that stuffs up before dawn doing push-ups. It's out there buying stocks, flipping properties, collecting dividends, and paying zero taxes while you're still hitting the snooze button. The idea is simple. The rich don't work for money. Money works for them. The rest of us, we're like unpaid interns in the economy, showing up, doing the work, and maybe getting a pat on the back if we're lucky. They own the system, we maintain it. They collect interest, we collect late fees. People love to tell you, invest early. Sure, I'd love to invest early, if I had anything left after rent, food, and trying to keep the lights on. Start with just $100. Yeah, that's cute. $100 is what I spend on groceries, not stock portfolios. Meanwhile, some guy's kid gets a starter portfolio. For his 16th birthday, you remember what you got for your 16th birthday. Probably a used bike and a reminder that the fridge light isn't free, and don't even get me started on passive income. That's the big buzzword, right? Passive income. Sounds relaxing, doesn't it? You sit back, the money rolls in, and all you have to do is build a system. I know people who can't even build IKEA furniture, let alone a money-making system, and you can't have passive income if your active income's already exhausted. For the rich, passive income means they can take a vacation and still get richer. For everyone else, a vacation means you finally get 2 days off from your second job. That's not passive income, that's passive exhaustion. The rich have something called capital gains. You know what that means. They make money from their money. You ever try that? You ever look at your paycheck and say, "Hey, I think this $20 bill's about to have a baby"? Doesn't happen. Your money doesn't multiply. It divides itself between bills, rent, and bad luck, and that's the real trick. They figured out how to make time work for them. Every second their money's out there hustling, earning interest, growing in value, while your money's busy trying not to disappear between paychecks. Time is their employee. It's their personal assistant. For the rest of us, time is the boss. Now, these rich folks love to say, anyone can do it. Oh, sure, anyone can, in theory, the same way anyone can win the lottery or sprout wings. It's technically possible, just not likely. They'll say, just invest smartly. Okay, but how do you invest when your biggest asset is a half-full gas tank? Diversify your portfolio. My portfolio's already diversified. It's half bills, half worry. And they've got these magical little phrases, compound interest, appreciating assets. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? Compound interest is where your money earns more money, and that money earns even more. It's like a pyramid scheme, except it's legal and only works for people who already have pyramids. The rest of us, we've got compound expenses. You miss one bill and suddenly you owe more. Late fee, overdraft, reconnection charge. Your wallet doesn't compound, it combusts. You know what's even funnier? The myth of the self-made millionaire. You see these glossy magazine covers. Some guy in a tailored suit, arms crossed, looking smug. How I made my first million. Yeah, but they leave out the subtitle, with Dad's second million. These people talk about taking risks. The only risk they've ever taken was trying a new golf course, and they all have the same story. I started small. Really, small for you means what? Buying a building instead of 2. They love to say they started in a garage. Sure, but it was a 3-car garage attached to a mansion. You start in a garage, you're working at a gas station. They start in a garage, they're starting a company. Funny how that works. The truth is, money is like a magnet. Once you've got some, it pulls in more. But if you've got none, it pushes it away. That's why you see the rich get richer and the poor get overdraft alerts. And you gotta love how they teach finance, pay yourself first. Yeah, right? I'd love to, but the electric company gets paid first, then the landlord, then the grocery store, then the gas station. And by the time I get around to paying myself, there's nothing left but lint and a coupon for expired yogurt. They make the rules and they call it fairness. The market rewards smart investors. No, it rewards connected investors. It's not about brains, it's about access. You could be the smartest guy in the world, but if you're not on the guest list, you're not getting into that party. And the whole system runs on this beautiful illusion that if you just keep working, keep saving, keep grinding, one day you'll break through, but it's not designed for that. The wealthy don't want you to stop working. They need you on the treadmill. The treadmill keeps their dividends growing. The minute everyone figures out the game's rigged, the whole circus shuts down. Now, don't misunderstand me. There's nothing wrong with ambition. Work hard, be smart, play the game. But don't confuse the rules they tell you with the rules they play by. You're working for money, they're working with money. Big difference. You can't win their game playing your version of it. And the funniest part, they've convinced everyone that you can be just like them. Think rich. Yeah, that'll do it. Just think rich. If it were that easy, every philosophy major in the country would own a yacht by now. They even have motivational speakers shouting about abundance. There's enough money for everyone. Yeah, maybe in theory, but somebody's got most of it already. You can't fill a swimming pool if all the water's been piped into someone's jacuzzi. You see, money's not evil, it's just lazy. It likes to stay where it already is. It doesn't travel much, doesn't mingle, doesn't socialize. It's not into community. Money doesn't trickle down, it trickles sideways from one rich guy to another. You might get a few drops if you stand close enough, but that's about it. So yeah, money makes money. It breeds, multiplies, and compounds, but only if it's already living in the right neighborhood. The rest of us, we're out here hoping our next paycheck doesn't vanish before we see it. And that's the real joke, isn't it? The system keeps spinning, the rich keep lounging, and the rest of us keep trying to catch up to something that was never meant to slow down. You know, after all this talk about being born rich and letting money multiply while you sleep, there's one final truth that kind of ties it all together. The real secret isn't just having money, it's understanding the game, because once you see the game, you stop being angry at the players, you start laughing at the rules, you stop thinking you're a failure, and start realizing the scoreboard's been broken since before you showed up. That's what I mean when I say be aware, not bitter. Because let's face it, bitterness doesn't pay bills. Awareness might not either, but at least it keeps you sane. There's power in knowing the joke, even if you're not the one telling it. The truth is, the world's full of people pretending they earned something they just inherited. And you can waste your whole life being mad about that, or you can just nod, grin, and say, all right, I get it now. The game's fixed, but at least I'm not the fool still betting on fair play. That's the funny part about money. It's not even real half the time. It's this imaginary measuring stick people use to decide who matters. It's paper, it's numbers on a screen, it's debt dressed up as power. But people treat it like religion. They pray to it, they sacrifice for it, they measure morality by it. You've got folks who think being poor is a character flaw. If you were smart, you wouldn't be broke. Yeah, because intelligence is directly linked to how much your grandparents left in the will. Makes sense. You ever notice how people love saying, money doesn't change you, it just reveals who you really are? Yeah, that's true. It reveals that some people are actually jerks with better furniture. The same guy who'd cut in line at the DMV will cut entire workforces if it means a higher stock price. It's the same personality, just with better lighting. But here's the trick. Once you start seeing that wealth isn't about moral superiority or divine destiny, you stop giving it the power to define you. You stop comparing your insides to someone else's outside. That's what awareness does. It doesn't make you rich. It just makes you immune to the nonsense. You stop running in circles trying to look successful, because you realize the people who invented the definition are making money off your exhaustion. And I know, it's easy to get cynical. You see the yachts, the mansions, the endless vacation photos, and it's tempting to just throw your hands up. But you got a laugh at it, because once you start laughing, you take away its control. The real freedom isn't financial, it's mental. It's when you can look at the absurdity and say, yeah, the system's ridiculous, but I'm not gonna let it eat me alive. You ever meet people who base their entire identity on being rich? Oh, they're fun at parties. They can't stop talking about returns and markets and growth. You ask them about their favorite movie and they start quoting stock quotes. They're not living, they're accruing. You could show them the Grand Canyon, and they'd say, "How much is it worth per acre?" That's not awareness, that's addiction. See, the rich think they own freedom because they can buy things, but real freedom is when you stop needing to prove you have it. Awareness gives you that. When you're aware, you stop living for status symbols. You realize the most expensive things in life are often the cheapest ones emotionally. Respect, honesty, peace of mind. Try buying those. You can't. There's no store for that. And it's not just about money. It's about how we're trained to think. From the time you're a kid, you're told to chase success, chase achievement, chase wealth. Nobody tells you to stop and ask, wait, why am I chasing it in the first place? Everyone's running towards something they've never defined. It's like a race where the finish line keeps moving, and the people who already crossed it, they're the ones moving it. Awareness is when you finally stop sprinting and realize half the runners don't even know what direction they're going. They're just running because everyone else is, and the funny part, the ones who slow down, who stop chasing, who just live, they're the ones who actually look like they've figured it out. They're not exhausted. They're not competing. They're just content. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying money doesn't matter. Of course it matters. You need it to live, eat, exist in this little capitalist theme park we call civilization. But once you understand the difference between needing money and worshiping it, you stop letting it own you. You make money the tool, not the master. That's the shift awareness gives you. And the funny thing is, awareness doesn't make you poorer. It actually makes you richer in the stuff you can't count. You start valuing time over things, truth over trends, simplicity over status. You start laughing when someone flexes a new car because you realize it's just a shiny way to say, "Look at me, I'm insecure but expensive." You also stop comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. Because awareness reminds you, everyone's got a backstage. Everyone's got bills, fears, regrets, moments they don't post. You can't compare your Tuesday night leftovers to someone else's Saturday champagne. Once you know that, life gets a lot lighter, and here's another thing awareness teaches you. Most rich people aren't the problem. It's the idea of wealth that messes with people's heads, the obsession with more. It's a treadmill that never ends. You can have 10 million and still feel broke because someone else has 11. It's not about money, it's about measurement, and measurement is a trap. When you stop measuring yourself against imaginary scales, you finally see how funny it all is. We're all chasing paper, pretending it means more than it does. People fight over it, lie for it, marry for it, even pray for it. And at the end of the day, it's just a printed agreement between strangers that says, this means something until it doesn't. Awareness gives you perspective. You stop seeing life as a competition and start seeing it as an experience. You start noticing little joys that don't cost a dime, like a quiet morning, a good laugh, a real friend. You realize wealth isn't about owning stuff, it's about owning your time, your peace, your sense of humor. Because humor, my friend, is wealth. If you can laugh at the absurdity of it all, you're already ahead. The rich might have more zeros in their accounts, but you've got fewer in your bloodstream from stress. They can buy entertainment. You can be entertained by watching the grand performance called human ambition, and once you're aware, you stop wanting to be born rich. You just want to live rich in moments, in thought, in spirit. You realize the joke isn't on you. It's on anyone who spends their whole life chasing a number they can't take with them. Because when the game's over, the money goes back in the box, and all that's left is how much you laughed while playing.